And hello, Orville Nation. Hello, everybody in the chat who's ready for some Dark Matter Monday. Hello, Time Prophet. Hello, Kronos. Hello, Maria Tiantelli. Hello, Alien. Good to see you guys. And hello to everybody else out there who is lurking. We are. It's time for some Dark Matter Monday. We're almost ready for Orville season 3, and I just want to give you guys a couple updates. Obviously, we're going to keep doing Dark Matter Mondays. There may be a Monday where we have to pause, but we are going to keep going, and we're going to do the complete run through of Dark Matter Monday. And as we progress, we may switch things up and add a few surprises to Dark Matter Monday. Well, that's all I'm going to say about surprises, because surprises are supposed to be surprises. Nice intro, OJ. No, I'm not OJ. PJ Maria. And Cardinal Sin. Cardinal Sin, very you have to do that, my friend. Thank you, Cardinal Sin, for that super chat, my friend. Hail chats and mods, hail Orville Nation. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much, Cardinal Sin. Cardinal Sin, guys. I know if you are, most of the people in the chat are subbed to Cardinal Sin, but if you're watching on the replay and you're not subbed to Cardinal Sin, you want to be. This is his channel. And Cardinal Sin is a criminally undersubbed channel. And very talented YouTuber and host. And he is on his way to 1,000. We need to get him there ASAP. ASAP. We need him there ASAP. This is Cardinal Sin's channel. Please make sure you guys are subbed. Guys, we grow together. And I mean that. I mean, we really do grow together, guys. And it's important that we support each other. And if you don't have a YouTube channel, you need to be supporting independent creators. So please sub to Cardinal Sin and everybody else in here. So thank you, my friend. Thank you, Cardinal. All right, guys. It's time for Dark Matter Monday. And we might have somebody pop in to join me later. But I think the best thing to do is going to be to start with the replay of episode 6. And let's see, make sure I got the right one. Now, let's see. Okay. We had several people in on this one. We had several people. We had Fortian, we had Katie, we had Coco, Kareen, we had ADEGA, and of course Joseph. And I think the best thing to do is to pick up somewhere around here. Let's see. Alrighty. I'm not going to talk too much today because, as Maria pointed out last night on our review of Strange New Worlds, I was losing my voice, so I'm not going to talk too much. My voice is going to go at some point, even though you guys can't tell. It's going to go. So I'm not going to try not to talk too much. I'm going to try to not interrupt Joseph too much today. So, am I rubbing off? All right. Here we go. Let's see. I think I'm Strange New Worlds. That's okay, Prophet. That's okay, man. We're honored to have you here anytime you can. And if you can't, then that's fine. Let's see. Um, all right, here we go. Right, here we go. And there we are. And all right, that is the right one. Excuse me. And guys, before we get started, I do want to ask Storyman Jack, please put in your GoFundMe, my friend, your gives and goes, and we're going to be doing a couple of. It's been a crazy day. It's a crazy week, but we're going to be doing a couple streams for Storyman Jack. And Jack, can you go ahead and put in that link? I'm looking on your feed and I don't see it. It used to be at the top, but if you can go ahead and put that in. Yeah, if you can go ahead and put that in, I appreciate it. All right, guys, I think it's the best thing to do is to get started. Here we go. Episode 6, Season 1. Katie, Adega, Coco, Fortine, the Barber, the Planetary Union Barber, and Joseph Malazzi. Of the episode in a certain way for this episode. Now, let's see. We'll put Fortine on the spot here, and we'll ask him who is in this cloak here. Have you been able to see the first few episodes or not?
Yeah, I've seen the first couple.
Who do you think is in this cloak right here?
I'm going to get this really wrong, but I'm going to sound like an asshole when I say this. Is it the little lady?
Very good. It is the little lady.
Yay,
Wow.
Very good. Wow. You already redeemed yourself.
Winning.
So I wanted to break the ice with this question to Joe. Is Yodel now? Yodel is in the cloak at the very beginning of and she's obviously embodying For's character. Now, is the actress playing this? Is she playing the scene all completely herself, or to what extent is she using a stunt double?
Yeah. So I mean, we do use stunt doubles for a lot of the action, but really, pretty much all of this is Jodelle. And I remember the day before she actually shot this, she was actually at our place and she was running through the sequence, the slash and the stab and the throw with the knife, and very excited. She was looking forward to actually showing off her stuff in the actual scene. I think she did a great job. And also John Stead, who's our stunt coordinator, did a terrific job here as well.
Wow. And you know what just came to my mind when Corinne had been talking about Stargate before is when Yodel was in Stargate, like she was very young, but she did such a great role. Like I thought when she was in Stargate, she was really creepy.
She was, she loves the fact that people refer to her as creepy because she got her start in horror movies. And, she has quite a big social media presence, I mean, relatively speaking. And, people reach out and say, oh, you're so cute, you're so adorable, because she does a cosplay. But when people, say, oh my gosh, you're so creepy, that she loves. She absolutely loves. Because, I mean, I think it was, what was the game?
Thank you, Prophet. You read my mind. Thank you.
not Resident Evil. She played like the demonic child in one of these video games. Oh, Silent Hill. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So.
Wow. Any Katie, your impressions of how this episode begins? What are your, because you haven't seen Katie, just to put everybody up to date. Katie is watching this. I hope she's still watching it. Episode by episode for the first time, if she can.
I have resisted the temptation. Many people have been betting against me, but I am still holding true.
Good.
It's hard. But I love it when you have these just real quick thrown into the story moments where you think, okay, maybe I know what's going on, and then you completely don't realize that. You accept you know nothing and keep moving on from there. And I love the whole, you were thrown into it and then you go back. And a lot of times, like I mentioned before, when you mess with the timing of an episode, it can get all garbled and all mixed together. But this one went really well. And it all started with this one because you're thrown in and then you want to know how. And the entire episode, I was like, wait, how? What happens after this? What happens because of this? And I really was invested in this story.
Absolutely. Joe, Sarah Jett writes, Empress Ishida scares the crap out of me. She does a fantastic job.
She does.
I agree.
Definitely.
And there's a lot of Yodel fans. Yeah, a lot of Yodel fans in the chat. Now, Karine, what have you? Now, you're. I know you're a huge Dark Matter fan. What is your impression of this of the first couple of scenes in this episode?
Well, I know when I first watched it, I was just like, wait, what's going on? Like, I love the fact that it was very like, ooh, who's this belong to? So obviously, we've been finding bits and bobs up to now. And so every time there's a new bit of information, you're like, ooh, who does this relate to? You want to know. So I loved how you kind of could see that, is this going like Thor's direction? And then obviously when Yodel's character 5, I was like, oh, okay.
Excuse me. I want to answer Prophet's question. Prophet, I'm sorry, Kronos. Joe will not be specific about the year. It's in the future. He will purposely not be specific about the year. So anyway, just so that is answered. What did I do? Hold on one second.
And the whole like, whoa, I was like, oh, okay. It confused me at first when I first watched it. But on the second watch, I was just like, it's almost like the puzzle pieces fit together more. This is definitely an essential one to go back and watch. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't suggest to go back and pick which ones to watch, but this is definitely one that when you do rewatch it, you're just like, wow, you just don't realize the significance of it until later. But yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, and as Alan says here, Katie, you have a great binge watch ahead of you once we get through the whole thing.
Oh, I will definitely be going back and thinking, okay, I was naive at this point. What happened?
And the quick question from the Time Prophet, Joe. You talk about Utopia Falls. Was George Orwell's 1984 the inspiration to write Utopia Falls?
That's a question for the series creator. I mean, Utopia Falls is very different from anything I would ever create. I mean, it's a fun YA music-heavy show. I mean, to be honest with you, when I was first approached to showrun, I said, just no way. Just the subject matter and the fact that it was really heavily K-pop influenced is totally not my bag. And so I told the creator, I'm not hip-hop, and he was like, no, I'm hip-hop, which he is. He's like a really big music video producer or director. You're sci-fi. I need someone with sci-fi cred to step in. And so essentially, His name is R.T. Thorne. You can find him on Twitter, and you should definitely ask him.
Yeah.
Is this is the net or the
Hulu.
Amazon Prime Utopia, right?
No, this is a
No?
Hulu Utopia Falls.
Hulu.
I think there were like 3 Utopia
Yeah.
shows with the name Utopia that dropped within, I don't know, a 6-month time span. So
It's like, wait a second, what are we talking about? Because there's one that is definitely not hip hop and pop.
right.
And it's really funny when I'm watching when I watched the Utopia Falls, I kept getting this like Footloose vibe. I don't know. There's something. I
Yeah,
don't know. Is that normal?
I would think so. Yes.
Okay. So Gap is liking Utopia Falls. Yeah, and it is very different from what Joe would create. Of course, it is very different. So we go to the next scene where, well, they're all around. We see that they're all around 5, and they're all concerned about she's having her body's having adverse reactions to she's living trauma in this experience, in this kind of avatar type of reliving their experiences, and that's where we get the intro, and the show kind of kicks off, and it starts out 24 hours earlier, which I thought when I every time I've rewatched it, Joe, I don't know. It's there's something about this episode which is extremely intriguing to me, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know what it is.
Maybe you get a lot of answers in this episode, so in that respect, it is kind of intriguing. But in offering up the answers, you also come up with a bunch more questions as well.
I don't know if anyone else views it kind of like this, but with the series, I found in my mind, I'm building like a central hub and then drawing out arrows for each character. And as their stories progress, those arrows get longer and longer. And I'm finding I want to know more about everyone. And anytime we get any information at all, I love it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And also sometimes you've got this like mental image where you think the character's going to go. And then like a spanner just thrown into books and you're like, whoa, I did not see that coming. So you're always constantly kind of like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Exactly. Well, I'm looking at 3 and I'm like, you're going exactly where I think you're going to go, bud. So I'm hoping I'll be pleasantly surprised. Otherwise, I will shove him out an airlock.
Joe, I did want, without getting ahead of ourselves, I did want to ask you this question. Suppose you use, because I just out of curiosity, and I think some fans have been curious about this kind of question from conversations and chats. If you use, like, to what degree are you allowed to use an image of David Hewlett in further episodes where he doesn't partake? He's just use his image. Is that?
You would normally have to pay.
Okay.
Someone for, essentially like a cameo appearance.
So
in this case, I mean, he's like a guest star in this episode. It's even though all of his scenes over last episode and this episode were actually shot one day, even though it's a day's work, he's still paid his episodic rate.
Oh, wow.
So then if a character is no longer in the show and they do a flashback, do they get paid for that episode?
No, if it's a flashback, that's basically a piece from a previous episode. So
right, but they will get their name in the credits usually will pop up still, right? Like at the end sometimes.
Possibly.
Sorry, this is big.
Yeah, usually I think yes.
Fair enough.
And actually, let me just ask you this. It's only because we were already talking about it. My fault. But if suppose you're filming something where like somebody, like, suppose we were in his apartment, in Tabor's apartment, and we saw a picture, like just an image of a picture on the wall of Tabor. That would involve him being again cast in that episode.
No, in that case, no. I mean, it's a gray zone. Well, it's not even a gray zone. Usually, if it's a picture, it's not a deal. Although I remember there was an episode of Grey's Anatomy, so it brings to mind, where there was a character who ended up leaving the show, and they did an episode where they featured a photo of him, and he essentially grieved the production because he felt he should be paid for his appearance. In that situation, I think there was a bit of bad blood between the production and the actor, so it was an atypical situation.
Didn't they have that in South Park as well with Chef?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like cut up audio.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's another thing with Robin Williams as the genie from Aladdin.
Yeah.
And they have so much unused footage, but he made it so that they cannot use it. I think it's like some sort of legal hoops or something.
He didn't want, I think, the genie to be like, what's the word? Profited, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he didn't want Disney to make money off of it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because Disney will never release it. Can we maybe get a heist? I see like a nice 6-person heist crew, maybe?
Meet me after the show.
There we go.
Jeff Beeler says, who finds it interesting that we see memories of 4, 5, and 6 and 1, but not 2 or 3? Well, I think there's more to come on this, but
Yeah, I'd assume there's a reason for that.
I will reserve judgment or comment for now.
So now we're going back to the zombie episode, and because they're talking about how the zombie ship was how they had to blow up the zombie ship, and they start to think about the fact that maybe they were set up, but like they're not really sure if Tabor had set them up. What do you guys think about this? Does anybody think that anybody besides Joe? Does anybody think that they were set up?
Yes.
I think they explained it very well in the episode. Like, okay, either way, he would win. If we die, he wins, collects the bounty. If we get it, well, then hooray, the job's done. So he was sitting in a pretty good spot, and all of a sudden, poof.
Did you want to say something? Oh, go ahead. Chris.
No, I just said, yeah. Because I think, yeah. I don't want to explain myself. I'm not good at that.
Go ahead, Karina. Bail out your
I just thought it was hilarious how, like, you never really got a straight answer from him, and he was, well, the term I like to use is flapping a lot, just like, just like, no, that's nothing to do with me, whatever. So that just made me laugh.
It'll sort itself out.
It's fine.
What about you, Dega?
It's probably stupid, but it's something that runs through my mind, and it comes from, thinking of the writer's standpoint, because it's really simple, but still it made me think of this. And every one of you think, oh yeah, duh, no kidding. But we've seen him 2 times, and both times number 2 was the one who was up front talking, dealing, doing business on the ship. That's one thing. But if you put yourself in the show, not necessarily as the writer or the audience, because it makes complete sense. And again, this probably sounds really silly, but there's no bad reaction between the receiver of the conversation. 2 is boss. The person on the other end knows 2 is boss. Even without her memories, they still expect 2 to be boss. And to me, it was just like, well, that makes a lot of sense. It could have went where, and then again, it's simple because you wrote it and everyone expects it to be this way. But if, say, 3 was up front, the person receiving it would have had a different reaction or played them a little different. And to me, it just seemed like it blended really well. And again, like I said, it's simple. Everyone thinks no duh, but it kind of struck me for some reason. Both times, like going, yeah, that had to make that connection that way. And simple, but still. I know
do
it's
you want to make any comment on?
No, I think that's
You
actually a
wanna
really good point. I
comment
mean, it's exactly that. The fact that you know, if there would have been, you know, one or three who would have been up front and basically, you know, giving it to Tabor, there's a very good chance possibly that he would have said, you know, well, what does two think, or why am I talking to you? Let's, you know, well, you know, I want to hear from two. And the fact that he, you know, basically went one-on-one with two and didn't really care to hear from anyone else would suggest that she has stepped into her role quite naturally, because it was a role that she's essentially subconsciously conditioned to being in.
And like I said, it makes sense, but it was in a lot of cases the real simple thing. But for some reason, I'm really impressed by it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I really just like the fact that sometimes when you get scenes like this where someone confronts someone, you can still kind of sense from the person doing the threatening, like they're still not 100% sure, they're not completely confident, but I just felt like two totally took control of the conversation. I know what I'm talking about, and just gave it to him. I love that.
I think this episode made me more afraid of two. Like originally, you know, 4 seemed really scary, and now I'm like, oh, she's just a kid, sort of thing. And now, no, 2's just like a stone cold killer.
Speaking of two, because there was a really nice touch, and I don't know who did it, but she was talking and her collar was here, but you could just see underneath there, and she didn't need it, but she put the bandage back on. It was just barely visible. Like, that is a cool touch. That's attention to detail that I like in these shows.
Awesome.
You have to go back and watch, but it's there. It's almost hidden,
A
but
little visual reminder.
yep.
Ooh,
Oh, wow. I didn't pick up on that. Oh, wow.
didn't even notice.
Also, just in terms of logical tracking, the rest of the crew assumes she's still healing from the bite that she picked up, presumably like a day or two earlier.
You have to bear in mind, Joe, that we've all been suffering from a lack of care to detail in our sci-fi lately. So we're just in awe. We are in awe with this. Alrighty. So we do see here that the crowd they start talking about the fact that maybe they were set up, and this is so kid-like, because we've all done it when we were kids. We're like spying on what the adults are saying, and we're trying to get eavesdropping on what the adults are saying. So
rude. I've never done that.
You've never done that?
No.
Really? I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a paragon of good behaviour.
I find that very hard to believe.
We're all nodding and smiling, but we don't really mean it.
And when I did the rewatch, I could so identify with eavesdropping on the adults. Anyway, so we see that she's beginning to worry about how it's almost, when I rewatch it, I get a feeling of she's worrying about this family breaking up, like when Two says, well, maybe we should just sell the ship. Do you guys get any feeling on that?
I just noticed he was eating again.
Did anybody get a feeling on the fact that maybe she doesn't want this family to break up, and that's why she volunteers to do this?
Yeah, I think from the start, I've always thought of out of everyone, 5 was always the one who was like, I really want us to stick together. Like, we need to work as a team. Like, she was like, yeah, we can't break apart.
I think that's going to be reinforced after this episode, because now she knows what it was like before to not have a nice family crew. You had the group that she was with, but it's like you had that once and then you lost it. You will hold on tighter and stronger again now that you have a group right in your grasp. So I imagine that it's going to just become stronger and stronger, wanting to keep the crew together. Or I could be completely wrong because clearly I have been in the past.
Oh.
Well,
Let's see,
after having the loss of, seeing the memory, the loss of her good friend that she brought on board the ship, and then the other friends that she was associated with, that would reinstate that desire to belong even more than what she had before. I agree with you.
No, I reckon she'll kill them all.
Jeez.
Yeah, that first flashback was not 4. It was actually 5.
Exactly.
Ooh.
New Wessex is doomed.
New Wessex will be, no, I'm not, don't get me into that right now.
Sorry.
And Joe, sometimes we have a name that pops up on screen from some of the stills that I take. And
Yes.
do you want to say anything about Ron Murphy?
Yes, the lovely and talented director Ron Murphy. I believe he directed more episodes of the show than anyone. Great guy, really smart.
Let me just stop Joe here 1 second. We had a great interview with Ron Murphy. We'll get to that at the end of season 2, I think. But yeah, he was a great guest. Ron Murphy was a great guest. That's a great interview. Down, I think it's in season 2 or beginning of season 3. Sorry, Joseph. Go ahead.
He started off in the business as an assistant to John Candy, comedian, actor, and just kind of worked his way up and is a terrific all-around director, but he's especially a great comedy director. He's a director of a show called Jan, starring Jan Arden and Zoe Palmer, that is airing nowish. And I want to kind of reach out to him and try to get him to join us in a future episode.
That
Wow.
would be good. That would be really, really cool.
Does
That
he
would be
have
amazing.
stories of John Candy? Because I love John Candy.
He has so many stories, not just John Candy, but he frankly has some of the weirdest, most out there stories I've ever heard. Just his experiences. Like, anyways, I won't give too much away because when he becomes a guest on the show, I'm sure he will regale us all with his, unbelievable tales.
Hey, Tracy.
Excellent.
That is a bit, that's amazing, Joe. I was going to ask you, is he at all related to the Stargate family of directors?
No. I just was introduced to Ron through, I think it was episode, I guess, yeah, this was his first episode 6. He does episode 6 and 9 of season 1.
And for all of you, I mean, I think everybody in the chat knows this, or in if you're watching the replay, but if you don't, Joe purposely did not name the episodes. Well, actually, you did name them. You named them 1, 2, 3, 4 by the number.
Mm-hmm.
Is there now going back? Is there any? How do you see that? How do you see the numbering of the episodes? Going back and rewatching season 1, do you still feel right?
To be honest with you, I never remember episode titles anyways. Especially of the shows I write. I always find that, especially naming the titles, such a pain in the ass, which is why I left it to the fans. So I think, like I said, it was appropriate in season 1, given the fact that they had no memories, that they named themselves in the numerical order in which they awaken, that the episodes would just be episodes 1 through 13. And
Let me just ask everybody in the chat. How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about the fact that the episodes were just numbered, or the titles were the number of the sequence of the episodes? How do you guys in the chat feel about that? I thought it was interesting. It was different, for sure. I thought it was very different that the characters were, numbered too, and the way they woke up, and I thought it was pretty cool. Actually, it was different.
of course, things change in season 2 because they begin to sort of learn more about themselves, each other, and the fact that the network made a special request for episode titles.
This image here is one of those, the one where you could just barely see the bandage on her neck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're right.
Just in case you want to go back and look, that's where you could see it. One of the spots.
Oh. I will. Yeah, you're right. It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Little details.
And let me just say that Joe is right. We don't always remember the episode names. And actually, I was watching my favorite Stargate episode of all time the other day, and it was written by Joe Malazzi. And everybody calls it, well, I don't know. Everybody I know calls it the Groundhog's Day episode. Where Jack is playing, playing golf at the Stargate.
Oh, I love that one.
What an
I
awesome
normally only
episode.
remember them if I do tend to remember them, but I've got a weird memory when it comes to TV series. It's just weird. I freak my mum out with it.
So here we see that one is addressing what's been bugging him, and he brings it up, and she's very direct about it. You know, he's basically asking her what is up with sleeping with 3, right? I mean, he didn't say it, but you know, she understands that he wants to ask him that, so she comes out and says it, and the way she handles this, doesn't the way she handled this say also a lot about her leadership position, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, like you said, she really doesn't pull any punches. She's very direct. She's like, okay, look, this is the way it is. This is why it happened. Is there anything else I can help you with? And then, she kind of senses where, why he's fishing and I want to let them off the hook a bit, but just kind of gives him a little something to kind of make his day, I guess.
We also do see that she does have some interest for him, right? In her comments.
Yeah, it would seem that she is saying, if the situation were different, there could probably be there could be a possibility, but so many variables.
Okay, let me just say, and ADEGA was going to leave us a little bit early today, so thank you, ADEGA, for joining us, my friend.
I wish I could stay.
Thanks, man.
We'll see you next time.
All right.
I'll see you soon. Or Saturday.
Thank you, ADEGA, for joining us. All right. Katie, any comments on I want to see what the women feel about this. Is this how?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I love how it's just so direct. Like, yeah, he's a warm body and there's no strings attached. Come on. It's so simple and so direct. You would not get anyone to say that right now. I love just the confidence that she exudes. She's like, yeah, he was there. I had the energy. We did it. We're done. It just, something about that tickled me.
What about you, Karine?
I loved it because I would say when I was in my early 20s, I was a lot more like 5. Now I'm definitely so much like her. I'm just like, spit it out, man. Fine, thank you for asking me. Yeah, this is what happened. Just straight to the point. It's like, yep, that's the way I like to be. So yeah, kudos to her for that.
Joe, let me. This is not related to this question, but it's not related to this scene. But there's a lot of writers today that say they're writing more towards the female.
Did I just say this is not related to this question? Is that really what I just said?
Is there any truth to that in the last few years?
I think in general,
I'm gonna have to rename these streams and just make fun of PJ. Make fun of the host.
yes, just because just in general, female characters have been underrepresented, not just in sci-fi, but just across the board. So certainly we're seeing a lot more of it. In the case of Dark Matter, I like an ensemble cast, and you know, both the men and women of Dark Matter are I think equally represented here. They're all very different. They're all flawed in certain ways, and they all get their time to shine. You know, there are no perfect characters on the show, which you know I like. I like imperfect characters. In fact, in the shows I watch, and I like to write for imperfect characters.
And Joe, maybe let's. I think this question has been answered in at some point. Joe, Time Prophet asked, was 2 always going to be the leader? Did you have other ideas?
No, absolutely. From the moment I came up with the concept of Dark Matter, she was always a leader.
And we definitely see that as soon as the show kicks off in episode 1.
I have to say, I mean, you know, Dark Matter was influenced by a bunch of shows, comic books, but especially anime. And you see it in this episode, in the early episodes, the fact that in anime especially, unlike a lot of North American productions over the years, the women are front and center and strong and imperfect and just kind of real, as opposed to, you know, we have to make this strong female character the lead, and you know, that's what I love about anime. So when I created the character in my head, I kind of knew what she looked like, and she looked like Melissa O'Neill, frankly, and I was thrilled that she nailed it. And also, you see, the whole Force storyline is very much influenced by the swords and space subgenre of anime, like what was what's the Lelouch series? Anybody?
The what series? Sorry.
The Lelouch series.
Code Geass.
Yes, Code Geass. There you go. And you know, just, kind of there's a lot of sort of feudal Japan mixed in with spaceships and exploration and palace intrigue and you know you can basically you see a lot of it in the show.
You know, Joe, you just reminded me, and yeah, you're absolutely, yeah, I totally agree with I'm not too much into it, but the anime, yeah, the female representation anime is very different. But you just reminded me of listening to Carrie Fisher talking about how the tension between, especially before we found out that she was Luke's sister in Star Wars, how the tension between her and the 2 gentlemen at her side kind of built up the heroine. I just wanted to say, you just reminded me of that right now when you were speaking about it.
So I think the thing that I see so much right now happening in Hollywood is they're trying to create these female characters and writing 2 females, which there's nothing wrong with that, but they screw it up so often because it almost comes off as pandering. Whereas in anime, from what I see, you just have female characters. They don't have these cliche things that they try and pack as many as they can into the character. Like, you just allow the character to develop organically. And that's the thing I think that still needs to be developed with writing for female leads, is like going like with 2. Let them have a mind of their own, let them do things that aren't stereotypical, and they can be strong and intimate at the same time.
Yeah.
And going back to how you said, Joe, about that you like characters that have imperfections, I really agree with that. I don't like seeing overly strong characters that seem to just do things and kind of brush it off and like, yeah, you know, I'm super strong, I don't need anyone. I prefer to see like, I'm just human doing what I can the best in the situation I've been thrown through, because that is so much more relatable than, say, like a character like Superman. As much as you can love a character like Superman, being so super strong, you're just like slightly out of reach. I mean, I have to say that do you know the series, The Adventures of Lois and Clark? Now, yeah, I like the spin they took on that, because obviously you focus more on Clark, and he felt so much more human. So it's great, like you said, to have imperfections, because you're like, yeah, I see where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing.
And we see Five go talk to Two here, and she's talking about she is speaking about the fact that she wants to go ahead and try it, and it does feel, to me, it feels like it's very preserve her family. This is her new family. She wants to preserve it. She'll do anything. And now, did anybody? Obviously they've asked her before, and I think it was the last episode they directly asked. It directly came up. Kid, I think 3 asked her, Kid, do you remember any of this, the secret word, the password to get into the vault? And did anybody see this coming before, when you were watching it for the first time? And maybe I ask that to Katie first.
I didn't see it coming, but I clearly don't pick up on things as fast as others. No, I always, from the second I saw the vault, I wanted to know what was in it, so I imagine the characters did. And so just that driving, nagging force, like, get in the vault, get in the vault, get in the vault. Like, I imagine that's kind of what's nagging at them too.
Corinne, did you see it coming?
I did, but that's because of the how you before the show starts, you get like clips of this is what happened before, and usually with me anyway, I can kind of reckon like, oh, we're going to focus on that because that was shown. Like when it was shown that, if it wasn't going to reflect on the episode, that's usually how my brain works anyway.
For Tian, can I ask you that question?
Sorry, I'm actually at the bit where they're all drinking and then he just shoots everyone in the head. And I was like, oh, brutal. So I've kind of forgotten what's going on. I'm being good. I'm playing catch up.
Okay.
We will forgive you.
I love it.
Yes, this is the host of Strangeness, of course. This is why he is the host of Strangeness.
Yeah.
Not the name.
But see, that just goes to show you get sucked into the show.
Yeah, honestly, that bit was ace. It started off, I was wondering what they were drinking, like in real life, because if it was me, I'd probably be drinking whiskey or something, because I'm a nuisance. And so, yeah, actually, what were they drinking in that? Or was there nothing in the cups?
No, usually there's something in the cups, and it's usually.
Your hand is really funny. Hello, Maria. How are you?
Oh, hey, I'm doing well. How is everybody?
Good. I'm not talking too much because I'm losing my voice.
I know.
Excuse me. But how are you? Everything is. What's coming up new on TNTelly? What's next on TNTelly?
Oh, I've got Miss Anna coming up on Friday.
You're using your sexy operator voice today, I see.
I think my voice is kind of conking out too. No, Anna. I don't know if the community should know her, right? Right, PJ?
Oh yeah, everybody here knows Anna Folkenstall.
Yeah.
Actually, her last name is not actually Folkenstall. That's Folkenstall is her brand.
Yeah.
But yeah. We call her Anna Folkenstall. Yeah, she's got great new stuff coming, huh?
She does. If anybody saw her last tweet of their new creation, it's unbelievable.
And that's Friday?
Yeah, it's Friday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss that.
I know.
All right.
Yeah, you keep it running.
I'm going to keep it running. Okay.
Water. In the event, it's they're supposed to be drinking whiskey. It's colored water.
You ever get actors who just slip a flask onto set and just?
You really are not supposed to. And I remember hearing a story of one big name actor. This is way when I was working on Stargate, and he was supposed to drink champagne for a scene, and he said to the props guy, "Okay, I want real champagne for the scene." And the props guy was like, "Well, I'm not allowed to do that." And the actor was like, "No, I want to drink champagne. So make sure you bring us some champagne." And the props guy was like, "I'd love to do it, but you have to clear it with a producer. And the actor was like, look, I'm telling you to get me champagne. And so this scene came up, and it was water, not champagne. And apparently the props guy had a props box like we would keep his stuff in. And at the end of the production, the actor left him a little present in the props box.
Oh.
Yes, it's the worst possible thing you can think of. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, so it wasn't a nice present.
No, it was not a nice present.
Oh, I was like,
So,
that's
This is
really
all
nice.
this to say that actors always like, I'm sure if they had the choice, they should have the, be drinking the Yamazaki 18.
Maybe that explains the whole Amber Heard thing.
Oh dear. That's just nasty.
Is that like something actors do? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, let me continue.
But
It's all right. Take 7. All right.
Who knows does anyone know the Back to the Future trivia about that with the drinking?
No.
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 So you know the scene, it's the first one, and he's in the car with his mother after the dance.
Oh, I know this one.
Yeah, he gets to take a sip. He thought it was going to be water. The crew had actually put real alcohol in it. Yeah, so his reaction to that was absolutely genuine. So that
No way.
was brilliant.
So great.
Yes.
Now, does anybody here see? Did anybody not think this was going in the direction of a 4 experience? Did anybody think otherwise? Once we see, go ahead, Kareen. I think you said something before. I'm sorry.
I think I know what you meant. I just thought like, oh, this is episode basically where we find out mostly about, the character, but obviously then kind of woo.
Yeah. And we see here we get introduced to Four's father, the Emperor, and I thought this was very interesting because we see Four as such a tough guy, and he is exhibiting here mercy for his opponent and for I'm not sure if mercy is the right word, Joe. Is it the right word?
Well, you could say, yeah, it is. It is kind of mercy. He's taking it easy on his younger brother.
Now, how old is he in, like, relatively speaking, in this scene?
In this one, I think he must be about maybe 6, 7.
Wow, way overestimated. Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was older.
13.
I thought he was older.
It's a scary 6-year-old man.
Or actually, now that I think of it, no, he can't be that.
He's got to be older, I think, right?
Yeah,
a little bit older.
Yeah, a little bit older.
It's still a scary kid.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so the brother is probably 6 or 7, right? Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. And was anybody surprised at the father's? Katie, were you surprised at the father's reaction?
Not really. Just because, in dynasties and such, you want to make sure that you have the strongest family so that they can continue on with the tradition, and you need them to be strong and have just a solid will to just break through any barriers. So just from my experience in history classes, I was like, yeah, no weaklings, none.
Hiro Kanagawa, by the way, is the actor who plays the father, and he's terrific. He's actually a Vancouver actor. Came to Toronto to do the episode, but he's just terrific in everything he does.
He was in The Tick, wasn't he?
Possibly.
I think so. Emphasis on think.
Yeah, he was great. He was great. Karen, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
And as I was just like, usually I find you either get a really, really nice father or you get a really, really horrible one. There's usually a nice in between. It's like, is it either end of the scale? And I was like, as soon as he walked in, I was like, yep, he's a nasty one.
Exactly. And then the second train of thought is, yeah, he's nasty. oh, he's so dead.
Yeah, it's like I can see where this is going. This is not good.
You almost instantly just are like, I don't like you. I want you axed. 4, can you get on this, please? Chop, chop.
Pun.
Oh, chop, chop.
Just imagine if that was the sound effect that you guys used for when Forrest is slicing and dicing. You just hear chop, 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 chop. Like they have that with the people in Star Wars where they do like the vroom, vroom, vroom. Yeah.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor is like the best for watching behind the scenes where he's just like, he can't help himself, can he? It's just, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I'll totally be him, so I can't say much.
Yeah, Chris Pratt's the same as well. And every time he picks up the guns, he's like, pew, 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 pew.
They just imagine 4 running around the ship like, pew, pew, pew. That's why I don't work in television.
You do?
Joe, he goes. So she goes right to 4 after this, and
It's funny how Katie says she doesn't work in television. Isn't that Maria?
Yeah, I was thinking that. I'm like, but wait a minute.
She thinks she does. I mean, because she's like, her head's in the meteorology game, but yeah,
Right.
she kind of does work in television.
Yeah, she does.
to talk to now. Did you? I just out of curiosity. Was there ever a moment where where she would not go straight to 4 after this in your mind, in the writing, or was
In my mind, no, given who she is and her, I mean, she's really not the type to hide secrets really for her benefit in any case. I think she, because she experienced those memories, she's pretty sure, given the use of swords, that it was 4's memory. So she goes to him to essentially come clean. Again, we go back to the fact that we see how 5 ends up on the ship, and you realize that she is perhaps one of the most earnest and certainly most trustworthy members of the crew.
Jeff, I don't understand the question. Doesn't 5 think 4 was 13?
He's saying that 5 assumed that 4 was 13 in the
13 years old.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay. There's all these numbers. I thought for a second there that he was joking around and he had added up the numbers. Okay.
Ooh, nice call.
Good job, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Too late.
Yeah, and Jeff Beeler in the comment section brings up a good point. There's that instant where he shoves 5 in the airlock. Yeah, and basically she says, "What about the rest of your crew? Maybe they'd object to throwing a girl out of the airlock." And 3's like, "You don't know the rest of my crew." And that's certainly a foreboding message he delivers there.
I love the delivery of it too. Just there's something about that gives you goosebumps. You're like, ooh.
He's eerily casual.
Yeah, that is spot on. Exactly it. Someone who's too casual with the killing and bad stuff.
Let me just remind everybody, Storyman Jack, whose house almost burned down the other day, and they've had to leave the house. His family's had to leave the house in order for it to get repaired. This is his GoFundMe. I guess the Gives and Go has ended. Story, Jack, and I guess this is a new one, right? So okay, let me. Please take time if you guys are watching live or on the replay to try and support Jack in some way. Thank you. Every little bit helps.
Okay.
Feel bad. I keep
Finished.
looking at my phone, but we're supposed to get like 7 inches of snow tonight, and I did not forecast it. So I'm like
Oh,
frantically
sweet.
texting my chief, like, guys, we screwed up. We screwed up.
What did you
You do.
forecast?
1 to 2.
1 to 2.
You've
Single
basically done what I
solitary
told you the other day about that.
Exactly. No, this is just a bit of a surprise. So.
So now, all right, what do you guys think about how devious how devious his stepmother is? And Kareen, what did you like? She's very planned this out all very well. Do you want to say? Is there any insights into this?
Yeah, she reminds me of
My ex-mother-in-law.
the bad guy from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Because he was literally like this. Like, he just played the sides. He was very, very like manipulative, but in a clever way that a lot of people didn't see it. So I totally got that vibe from her. I'm like, oh, she just knows what she's doing and she knows how to play people. And I usually find they are some of the worst bad guys because they can just get away with a lot more.
Mm-hmm. I always
And-
hate the. Oh, sorry.
No, go, Kitty.
Oh no, I always hate puppet master characters. Manipulation of people is something I found in my life that I personally hate. So when I see a character that embodies it, I instantly get this emotional reaction. Like, you don't know, but you're like, I hate you. And it's always great to see shows that pull on emotions. And I think at least everyone has experienced this one person in their life who tries to be like this, might not succeed, but tries to do it. And that instantly draws you in.
Yeah, I wanted to chuck her in a mulcher.
Is that what you do on your side of the pond when you don't like someone? Just
Yeah.
Full Fargo, just yeah.
Hey, I'm on this side of the phone. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You don't know what a mulcher is?
No, I mean, like, we don't do that here.
But we do.
Well, you do.
But yeah, we're savage here. Just honestly, just don't deny it. We all know it.
No more comments from me.
John Burns, thank you for that super chat, John Burns. My nephew really thought this was the episode where 4 became more well-rounded. We understand he's quiet for various reasons, but this shows how his upbringing was, the stresses as a kid, teen.
Good point.
Mm-hmm. Spot on.
It does show that. I really, as Katie, we're talking about her being manipulative. We're gonna see, like, when we get more information about his half brother down the road, we will see just how manipulative she really is. Is there? I think. I mean, Joe, that it seems like there's a lot of issues here in Ford's family that have been left open-ended. I mean, just compliments to you because I think you did a really good job.
Thanks. Thank you. I mean, like I said, it's all part of a bigger game plan, and it's all balls in the air, right? I mean, you throw a ball in the air, and at some point it's going to land again, and this one will land again, actually sooner than later. And I didn't remember the actress's name, but it's Meng Ling Sui, who plays the Empress, who is deliciously devious as the Empress, and then Carl Ang as Hero, his young brother.
Wow, yeah, she was great. She was fantastic, and he was too. And I'm gonna admit, and I kind of started to say it backstage to you guys. I'm having trouble processing this episode for reviewing it, Joe, and I'm not sure. Like I am cognitively having trouble. I'm not sure it's because I'm beginning to think that it's so intricate because we know how the story develops. It's so intricate that there's so much jam packed in this episode for people who've already seen, for people who know how its story progresses.
Yeah, it's. I guess it is interesting in that respect, like you say, because I remember just watching it this weekend again with my wife Akemi, and generally just kind of being surprised by how much we do reveal and how much this episode kind of sets up, and also just structurally, it's very different in that in previous episodes, there's very much beginning and middle and an end. Even though there is very much beginning and a middle end to the process of Five going into her memories, the individual little backstory arcs are all really unresolved and just kind of like float there. You're offered little kind of snapshots, but at this point, Katie, they're just snapshots, so they're kind of interesting and they fill kind of some of the holes, but you're left kind of wanting more.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Exactly. You want more, there's more out there, but you're straining yourself to one episode a week, and you can do this, Katie.
Yeah, this episode definitely hit differently, like the first time you watch it and the second time you watch it. It's almost like you're watching a different episode, because the way you view it on the first viewing, you're processing new information. On the second viewing or the third, it's more of a like, whoa, that makes so much sense. I can see the full picture, etc., etc.
Now, Joe, was there, I would assume if there would have been a season 4, or who knows, God willing, there will be a season 4. In season 4, would we have learned more things about his father?
No, actually, all you really needed to know about his father is pretty much revealed in the episodes that air.
Okay.
Now, did anyone else full on expect 4 to actually have killed him?
Yes.
Okay.
Really?
Oh, I completely thought he was just going to go in, be like, all right, let's down this dead. It just seemed like something the character would do. So
I was actually the opposite. Well, as soon as he was drunk and walking in there, I was just thinking, don't go in there. Don't go in there. Don't go in there. Don't do it. Why are you doing that? Stop.
I'm actually not letting Maria talk so she doesn't call Joe Dr. Malazzi. That's why I'm not letting you talk, Maria.
I was making a mental note, okay?
Have you've been calling Joe? You've been calling Joe Dr. Malazzi on Twitter?
No, not on Twitter so much as I have live when we've been
verbally.
streaming. Yeah, I don't know why I keep calling him that. It's so funny. I was like, I changed his career with one word.
Well, he
So-
is the doctor of the script writing for sure.
He is truly that. And these guys are definitely right on when you think a character is going one way and it's not whatever you think, I'm saying this for Chrono's sake, because when you think it's going in one direction, it's not. And many times you're going to be finding yourself going, what the heck just happened? And but in this case, I had a feeling it was a stepmom just because of the scenario of her wanting the son to, whatever. But yeah, most of the time you don't know.
Yeah, I feel it was a stepmom because I saw Snow White.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Snow White, Cinderella. Sorry.
Well, it would only make sense because, of what would happen if her son was in power. It wasn't only going to benefit her son, but also her in the long run. So they had more to gain than what God, now I'm forgetting what I call him, Dr. Five now. But yeah, so I had a feeling, but then when you think I was like, maybe it's not, because that just no. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to continue.
Yeah, do it.
Thank you.
I'll shut up.
No.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Kareem. I don't think he would have done it. I think he's so devoted. Let's take Precision Day's question. Joe, do you believe that the Emperor ever considered his betrayal coming and chose to push Rio hard in order to be ready to deal with what comes next?
I think the Emperor sort of may have been wary, a wary individual in general, and certainly pushed Rio hard to really forge him into a strong individual that would one day be able to step in and take his role. However, if he actually ever suspected that the Empress was plotting against him, then he would have taken the appropriate steps. So in that respect, he did not see this particular coup coming.
Now, did anybody think that did anybody think that 5 when she gets pulled out that she would go back in again? Did anybody think that she wouldn't go back in? Katie says no.
I don't see, now that I think about it, it's definitely she would want more information. But personally, I would have been really freaked out by the experience. So my personality is saying, no, don't ever do that again. But I think 5's more of the curiosity killed the cat kind of person, where she'll put herself in harm's way to find answers. At least that's what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I agree. I think she would have gone straight for it more. Like, yeah, I would though. Right, so I guess I can resonate with that. Like, yeah, I want more. I want more. Dig. Yeah.
Corinne?
Yeah, I just think it's very suiting with her character. As we discussed before, she just wants this crew to stick together. And she's like, well, if this is what it takes, this is what it takes. So she's willing to go that mile to do that.
Thank you, John Burns. You can do it, Katie. I know throughout literature, he's talking about your saving yourself and not binging. I know throughout literature, step parents are never shown in a very good light. It is a very good performance. 4 didn't do it. Yeah.
He's not wrong. I mean,
I'm glad 4 didn't do it. What was that sound?
That's me like suppressing a laugh. Sorry.
It sounded almost like a beaver chewing on your mic for a second.
We see the beaver. We see a 5 here. Then she decides she says to 2, I want to go back in. I can handle it. And actually 4, she gives 4 something when they're a little conversation in the gym. Gym, I think it's whatever you want to call it. 4, she gives 4 something, maybe peace of mind that he didn't do it. He gives her something very important. She gives him something very important. And then he gives her something back saying, listen, you can control yourself. These are just recordings. You don't have to get emotionally involved. And so she decides she can go back in and continue. And it's interesting now she goes to her, she ends up going to her own life. And this is where we start to see where this boy came from, who they found on the ship. And Joe, I want to ask you a question here. When the boy is talking to her, he says something to her that the bad guys killed all their friends.
Mm-hmm.
And before I ask Joe the question, I want to ask everybody else: Did you guys believe his answer and maybe it's not due to the actor, or it's not even due to the fact that the show doesn't want to let us know that it's not true, but something in me is saying that that's not true. What did any of you get that feeling that they're not all dead?
I think they're all
Or
dead.
is it just me?
They're all dead just because I mean, you'd think assassins wouldn't be sloppy enough to leave someone alive, but I think they're all dead, which means they're probably alive. I don't know anymore.
What about you, Corinne? Do you think they're alive?
But basically, when it got to the bit where she said what she had stolen and she thought it was nothing, and it turned out to be something big, I was like, oh dear, she's finally, picked the wrong pocket, basically. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I think they're all gone, sadly.
You want to weigh in for Tian? Or did you watch it too quickly?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. So, I mean, I've watched the whole episode now, so yay me. But I don't know. I don't know if... I just want to see it unfold, because I'm one of those people that I like to second guess everything, and normally when I engage my brain too much, I will just ruin it for myself and other people around me. So I'm gonna let it unfold because I think that's probably more fun.
Okay, Joe, am I reading too much? into this?
In this instance, yes, you're reading too much into it.
Okay, gotcha. I don't know. I don't know why. I just felt that way. Okay. Joe's laughing. Okay. I got to tell you, I don't know. This is maybe I'm really stressed out this week. I don't know what it is. This has been a hard episode for me to process. I don't know why. Maybe I have to psychoanalyze myself later.
Isn't it like rule 1, never psychoanalyze yourself?
Perhaps.
I see a spiral staircase going straight down.
Yeah.
So we see here. This is how she was introduced to walking around. I mean, to sneaking around in the vents in the ship. Mm-hmm. They become stowaways, and we see 1 and 3 briefly as prior to their memory wipes.
Maria, I'm not talking to you right now. Maria.
What, are you mad at me? Oh, you mean, okay.
And we're trying to do this without spoilers, guys. So Joe's not going to answer what the black ships are about, but everybody wants to know what the black ships are about when they come in here for the first time. Stay tuned.
I don't want to know. Not yet.
There we go, not yet.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure by the end of this, I'll be like, I have a list.
now, did anybody see? Obviously, 5 gets wrapped up. 5 gets wrapped up in this whole experience that she's having, and we do get more information on the Blink and the Blink drive, and how it came about, and
It doesn't know what the hell you're talking about.
There's what?
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. And so we get a lot of information in this episode. And I think that let's see. It is.
Wow, I was off here, huh, Maria? I seem off.
Well, you got a lot to process.
All right. Well, this is probably,
I'm sorry. I mean, I think what the problem is the same problem I have is that because I watch them back to back to back, that I can get each episode confused with the next one, which is why it was hard to describe. And I think that's what happens sometimes is that you kind of trying to think in your head, okay, which episode was this on?
Yeah, but I don't remember right now what it was, but there was something about this episode. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it. There was something about it. It was different for me. But anyway, here we go.
It really upset you?
Upset me? No, it didn't upset me. It was hard for me to process this episode for some reason. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
There was something about it. I don't remember what it was.
6 is going to go back into the whole. 6 is going to go back in, and he's going to save her. Did anybody see that coming? That 6 was going to go save her,
Loved it.
or somebody was going to go save her?
I think 6 was a natural choice just because I see like a protective father, just like, no, she's a kid. I'm going to go help. And I'm going to be the one to do it because I'm the only one who gives a rip about her. Like, I could imagine this whole long drawn out speech. But so he's just like, no, I'm going to do it. I love that so much.
Dee Dee says she saw it coming. I saw it coming.
Yeah.
And I do also want to share. Joe has been very gracious to be sharing some behind the scenes shots. And I do want to take a quick look at that as the episode winds down. Make sure I have it correct. Let's see. Are these from episode 6, Joe? The ones you shared?
They should be. If they're in the episode 6 folder, they should be.
Okay.
14, did you just refer to yourself in the third person in the
I
comments?
did.
Yeah, his YouTube channel is going to his head.
I have to admit, I'm kind of glad because I do that sometimes. Mostly when I'm kind of telling myself off.
Yeah.
I think it's a very British thing. That's probably why.
Oh yeah, I did it today. I think that was it. I was going to wash up and I splashed over everywhere and I was just like, what are you doing, Coco? Stop it.
Yeah, this is a beautiful picture, Joe.
Wow.
Yes, love
This
that.
is a picture. What's his name? Dennis Iliak, I believe, is a photographer. He's a friend of TJ Scott, who's the director of the first 2 episodes, and then he came in and just did a remarkable work on our gallery shoot, and he provided a bunch of behind the scenes photos, and this one really stood out for me.
That could be a poster easily. Look
I
at
was actually
that.
just thinking that would make a sick poster.
Yeah. You find them on
And
Instagram.
that actually is a really good picture, right, Maria?
It is beautiful. I love it.
Very simple too,
Yeah.
but
At Denny Den, DENNY, DENN.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, that needs to be either a poster or a shirt. Because
Dennis
that,
Iliak is his name.
Dennis
that
Iliak.
look is what I had on my face this entire week, just staring glazed over into space.
Joe, I love the way you guys did the data, like the way she assimilates data through her, in her neck as an android. I love the way you guys did that on the show. We're going to see a lot more of that.
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
Oh, robots scare me.
Same.
She's an android.
Well, they still scare me.
I've always been drawn to the androids for some reasons, but like in Star Trek, I just adore Data because I just love the whole fact that he's just trying his best to fit in, and it's the same with the android. She's like just really cute for some reason because she's just like, I'm doing my best, but I'm also like not quite there. So it's I just love that aspect.
Data's a bad
Relatable.
guy, though.
Thanks, John. And John's referring here to three is a lazy bastard. Instead of carrying stuff, he's rolling things like the episode before when he voted against. So he doesn't need help. Yeah.
Yep, agreed.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much for your support, John. We appreciate that, John Burns. Thank you. And if you ever want to have us promote a web link or a channel or Twitter, whatever, let me know, John. Now, I do want to, Joe's been very gracious, and maybe he can tell us a little bit. Is this the director, Joe?
Yep, that's Ron Murphy in the middle. To our left is Ivan Bartok, who is our on-set producer. He was actually the special features producer on Stargate. He's just my longtime on-set producer. He's a guy who's actually in the room with the writers, a creative. He's actually, he wrote a couple of episodes of the series later.
So Ivan Bartok is like Joe's man on the set when Joe, like for example, Joe's not always there.
Yeah.
And he's on set. His job is to be on set and make sure that I get what I need in the editing suite. Ron, as I said, in the middle, terrific director, great guy, full of stories. And then on our right is Lauren Bancroft Wilson, who was a production assistant on Stargate and has moved on to visual effects. And he was our visual effects supervisor for all 3 seasons of Dark Matter.
Oh, wow. And can you talk a little bit about what obligations did he exactly?
He ensures that, I mean, he'll get the script, he'll break down the visual effects, anything as simple from, you know, a blaster fire to shields generating to all those amazing shots of the ship and FTL. And then he will go out to vendors, visual effects vendors, and you know, tell them what we're looking for, and he'll oversee the creation of the shots, make sure that they're perfect. He'll run them by us. He will coordinate with us and the visual effects company to ensure that we get what we want, and you know, we'll deliver them accordingly. So, you know, kudos to him, and obviously his vast network of a VF.
Just to remind you guys, Ron Murphy in the middle, the director, had he had a couple of cool John Candy stories when we interviewed him toward the end of season 2 or beginning of season 3. So if you want to check that out, just put in just check out Ron Murphy on the Orville Nation YouTube channel. And we're going to wrap up soon, guys. But here, let's listen to a little bit more.
Experts who created all the visual effects for the show.
Now, Ivan seems very familiar. Have we seen his face on screen at any time, Joe?
He played the part of a young cadet in, I think, season 4 of Stargate. I think he had one line.
Okay.
Outside of that, I mean, he appears on my blog occasionally. Both actually, Ivan and Lauren are in my fantasy football league.
How are you doing in your fantasy football?
I am probably out of the playoffs in one and in second place in the other one. My Snow Monkeys, I think, are poised for an impressive run this season.
Okay, congrats. Let's see.
I swear my team has just glass bones because they're all on injury reserve.
Yeah, it's been a rough year last season.
Oh gosh. I'm like, Odell, come on, man. Come on.
Oh, there he is.
And the young lady in the picture is
that is Maddie. What is Maddie's last name? Maddie Houda?
Let me just say, you have a really good memory because I don't even remember everybody.
Actually, this is not true. I actually have a terrible memory.
It's good where it counts.
Right. So yeah, Maddie Huda, and she is a script and continuity department. So essentially, she will sit there behind the monitor, make sure that everything tracks. If a character in 2 previous scenes, because the episode is shot out of sequence, if the character's left a scene with a red scarf, he or she should be wearing a red scarf in this scene. She'll remember, for instance, he put the cup down in the wrong place. He put, in one shot he put it down here, in the other shot he put it here. She will track all of that, and also she will time all the episodes and let us know if we're running short. Occasionally, if we do run short, I end up having to write the extra scene.
So she was probably responsible for the bandage that ADEGA mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, really, the costume department should know when we prep an episode, we will go through, all the needs of every department, from construction to wardrobe, to props, and we'll remind them she has to wear the bandage. And if she ended up on set without the bandage, then Maddie, in all probability, would have flagged it and said she needs a bandage.
Oh.
That's a job you have to have a good memory for.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, John Burns. I'm 4 for 4, 1 game out of the playoffs. I had that.
So did I.
Oh no.
Haha.
Oh.
Thank you, John. And Joe, have you? And you can say what you want. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but has there what happens when the director makes, like when you have a director, a situation where the director, or let me just say this, that the cast doesn't feel comfortable with the director? What happens when a producer's...
It depends on what sort of the issue is. Usually they come talk to me as showrunner. I will go down and, either have a talk with the director. If it's basically just like a disagreement about how to play a certain scene, usually Ivan, who's kind of my on-set producer, who I trust wholly, knows what I need, and he will, have the final say. If it's a bigger issue, it's rarely, has something like that come about. But if there is, then the cast can always come up and talk to me. In fact, I always had a very, open door policy, and I've had, the cast come up and discuss changes if they wanted to make to the characters, to the dialogue, certain scenes. I was always, receptive to hearing them out, and if it made sense, the argument made sense, I'd be happy to change it. If however, it contradicted what I needed, or essentially contradicted something I would set up down the line, I would just kind of explain to them why I needed the scene to sort of fall a certain way. But I don't recall any incidents where they kind of were at loggerheads with specific directors.
And if I can permit myself the liberty of saying this as a psychologist, I think a lot of times people who, a lot of times we all do. So we bring problems into our lives many ways. And I think that, if I permit myself to say this, I think that Joe's personality probably has him have less problems than a lot of other people. I think you have a very positive outlook, and I think you're very diplomatic, because in your
I sound so tired, Maria. I must have been so out of it this day.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
You always have a lot.
I think I'm sympathetic. I can be empathetic. I know, and really what it comes down to is, it's like a lesson I learned from Stargate, working for Brad Wright and Robert Cooper, is the fact that your production, you're there like 11, 12 hours a day, sometimes longer. You're working with these people day in and day out. It doesn't have to be unpleasant. It really doesn't. And you can take steps to avert the unpleasantness by first and foremost hiring good, professional, sane people, which doesn't always happen. But also just being able to sort of hear people out, because no one comes into work looking to cause trouble. It's usually, if you can get to the source of whatever an issue is, and there will, every once in a while there will be a time where someone will have an issue with something that, aspect of the script, or an aspect of a way something is being shot, and you just have to get to the root of the problem. Like, what is the issue, and either hear them out and find a way to address it. It's really not that tough.
Communication is
Yeah.
By the way, though, this is not Matt Ryan's office.
No, I didn't think so, because those are like, there's some more props on there than we've seen, but
some of those, there's two of those there that Matt has made.
oh yeah, those. He actually has started another one, and he's agreed to come back on the show if we could take more time with those weapons. So we'll have to have him back.
Wow, cool. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up soon. I'm just gonna play the last bit here.
Yes, John. Yes, John. Now here we see a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Those are our guns. Just trying to. Now, I believe the one on the right is Two's gun. I remember. I got one of each.
Joe, I have to point this out. That I don't know if this is somebody's idea of a joke, but the fact that there's two hairbrushes with the weapons, does that say anything? Or?
No, I think that was just our props master Victoria slipping those in for the photo.
And what's the axe doing?
Yeah, I mean, basically they will roll out all the weaponry.
I love that.
To me, it looks like you know, in my barber shop. I love it.
You all cut hair very different over there, don't you?
And Jack on your side, come on, Joseph, whatever it takes, let's get the band back together again.
Yeah, I agree. Would love to.
And I assume that Jack here is talking about Stargate, or maybe he's talking about Dark Matter. I don't know.
So in both cases, I would say yes.
I agree.
Both cases, absolutely. And Joe, we love these behind the photos.
Okay, there's
shared.
Victoria. Victoria is our props person, the props master.
Very cool. That's a cool job. Now,
Oh, yeah.
have you?
That's a cool job.
Go ahead, Katie.
Oh no, that's just a really cool job because then you get to play with all the fun toys. Imagine just running down the hallway with a machete made of rubber, like.
Yes.
Now,
Have you worked with Victoria before, Joe?
no, we just worked with her on Dark Matter, and then when Utopia Falls got the green light, I reached out and she joined. In fact, actually, a lot of the Dark Matter crew I ended up reaching out to for Utopia Falls, like production designer Ian Brock, who actually won an award for his Utopia Falls production design with the Directors Guild of Canada. Gave him an award a couple of weeks ago. So, like I said, I like to be loyal to my crew. If they were pleasant to work with, they put in the time, they were hardworking, then, I know I can rely on them for, good work and a pleasant experience. So I'll always reach out to those people again. And it's the same thing with actors as well. And you'll see Stargate actors who appear in Dark Matter, Dark Matter actors that appear on Utopia Falls. And there's Mark Ben David on the bridge, downtime between scenes. Looking very serious.
It looks like heaven's light is just shining on you.
Mhm.
Ah. And even the pose kind of goes with it. Just like, yes, I am the chosen one.
And
Oh yeah, this is them running through the scene. Jodelle, very chipmunky, can I say? Chipper sitting up on the table, and there's Ron taking them through the scene.
well,
I would love to just have a sleepover on set.
You would be
That'd
very
be fun.
uncomfortable. You'd be very uncomfortable, and surprising how actually small those beds are.
Really?
I don't know what the deal is here, but Melissa was obviously very excited. She was actually very good friends. Her and Ron ended up being very good friends. Oh, and there's all of them.
that's a good picture. That's a great picture.
Love the sass that one's giving off right there. Just got that slouch.
Did you hear, Joe, a comment about Game of Thrones having Starbucks coffee cups in their background?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, I remember an episode of Stargate Atlantis. We had a Snickers bar on an alien shuttle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we had to paint it out. Visual effects had to paint it out in future episodes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, there's Odell going over her script, going over her lines.
That's a good picture too. All of them in there.
With all of them with their scripts. Odell very relaxed. She could relax in like the kind of the craziest places. Just kind of curl up into a ball or just goes off. A cat in that respect.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I foresee that one.
Now, Joe, I know you're not on set all the time, but what happens when an actor is just having an off day for whatever reason? How do you guys adapt to that situation?
What do you mean by an off day?
Well, with regards to their lines. They're just not hitting what they want to.
It happens. You just have to be patient and support them and make the best of the situation. At the end of the day, unfortunately, you're on the schedule, so it's hopefully they get it. If they don't, then editorially, you have to find a way to make it work. It's more of them hanging around.
It's nice to see that they don't just go off into their
Yeah.
they're go off
See, this
into
is
the
what I was
corner.
talking about. So she would actually just nap in the craziest spots, and this is her curl up in her chair.
That looks
That's
so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it does look uncomfortable as hell.
Like a cat.
Is it chiropractor by any
Mhm.
chance? 'Cause-
I mean,
Whew.
the actors are in at like all these crazy hours, like sometimes 4 a.m., depending on what kind of makeup they have to go through. Alex Malari Jr., who plays 4, was in an hour before everyone because he's got so many tattoos that we had to cover them up. This is what sort of my, if you're an actor or an actress, consider not getting tattooed because, especially if you get a role that that your character can't be tattooed, then depending on the level of tattoos, you're coming in pretty early. Now there's Jodelle. I mean, I mentioned the fact that Jodelle and Roger lived in the same building as Akemi and I during that first season. So she would come up and she would hang with the dogs. This is Lulu, my French bulldog, who sadly is no longer with us. But she loved Jodelle. Yes.
So cute.
Oh, puppies.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I can just imagine like 3 having a German Shepherd, or I don't know, maybe a Chihuahua, and strapping a gun to the side, like go get him, go get him. I don't know why that made me think of it, but now I want that to happen.
This is my wife Akemi. She had like super long hair, and we visited set one day, and so she posed with Bubba, and then I was like, just the tiny girl with the gun, and then I gave it to Jodelle, and we ended up taking a few pictures of Jodelle with Bubba. And I was like, I've got to write this into a scene. And so, you'll see 5 wielding Bubba in a future episode. This is a classic also anime trope. Little girl with big gun.
That is.
Yeah.
That's a great picture. And if Mrs. Malazzi ever wants to weigh in on everything, I'm sure she's more than welcome.
Yeah. Now this is these are her photography skills, and her camera's like way better than mine.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is the set. This is the main corridor that we would dress and redress in order to make it look like so many different looks.
Wow.
Do you want to say hi? We're talking about you.
Oh
That's
no,
cool.
look at me.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's the other side. The looking the other way through. It's kind of a shoot off. If you turn the corner and take one step that way, you actually walk off the set onto the set was raised, and the left, I think it's 2 steps, and you're down a ramp and onto the backstage area.
Joe, if they would have let you, you could have totally turned this into an Airbnb for the fans.
I would often say to the guest stars that basically they could have the choice. They could stay at a hotel or they could sleep in the quarters. They always chose the hotel though. Yeah.
I've been saying the whole Airbnb idea for like years.
You have. I think it just needs to happen at this point.
That needs to happen. On that note, I am going to wrap up, and I want to thank Maria for being here, and thank you for not letting me thank you for letting me not make you talk.
You're very welcome for not letting me talk. And hey to those who snuck in a little bit later. Definitely glad you're here, but catch PJ on that replay.
Yeah, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled time a little earlier next week, and Hello, Mac. Good to see you. Good to see Rob. Good to see you, Trey. Um, we're ramping up to normal operations for the channel, and you guys are going to notice a lot more activity. And hopefully, we'll be back at the regular time next week. And time probably says 6 months.
Time. You're as bad as DJ.
So thank you, Maria.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Thank you, of course, to Joseph, Katie, Coco, Fortian, and Adega. And thank you again, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Trey from Max World Entertainment, Kronos, Time Prophet, Rob, everybody who has been in here, Alien. Who else has been in here? Everybody who has been in here, guys. So thank you so much for joining us. And
Yes.
don't forget, the Orville is coming up. Real soon. Maria, tell us again Friday what's coming up on your channel.
Anna
Anna
her
Fogelstall.
amazing, yes.
Yes.
Anna. I'm going to be a guest on someone else's show, Pops on Wednesday. But you guys make sure to hashtag Dark Matter and Stargate as much as possible. And support Joseph and his work. And let's see if we can't get Dark Matter back for another season.
Yeah, and if you guys, anybody who does not have hashtag Team Malazzi on their social media, why don't you try and add that to your social media? Hashtag Team Malazzi.
I actually have it on my homepage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Team Malazzi, and also We Grow Together.
Yes. And
Yeah.
hashtag We Grow Together.
Yes.
Yes. By the way, there's a lot of June 2nd is the release of the premiere of the Orville season 3, and I'm going to be giving a lot of updates on what's going to be happening. We'll be doing special stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of Latchcombs, and we will likely be doing Latchcomb tomorrow night, actually. So thank you again, Maria.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And everybody have a good night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. And we'll probably see you tomorrow around the same time, approximately, for a special Latchcomb tomorrow, talking Orville Season 3.
Groovy.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night.